All right, everybody, welcome to Rogues Gallery Live. This is episode number 14. Have an amazing show. I am Chris, the Batman Statue Collector. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for your patience. We're still having trouble with Google Hangouts with all of the audio issues. I hope Google fixes that because it's been pretty frustrating. But like I said, we have a great show tonight. Have an amazing panel. We have a very special guest once again, which I'm really excited about. So let's do our introductions. First here on the end, the child of the atom himself, Mr. A. Tim's here.
Hey, everybody. Thanks for having me on, Chris. Hi, panel. Hi, everybody watching.
Hello. We also have Mr. Dan Default.
Hey, guys. Good evening, everyone.
Thanks for joining us again this week.
Thank you for having me.
With us, as always, Mr. Jeff Morris.
Hey, guys, to everybody that can hear me.
Yeah.
We can hear you just fine. We also have Mr. Jeremy Alejandro in the house.
Hey, what's going on, guys? Thanks for having me on, Chris.
Absolutely. We also have, of course, as always with us, Mr. Lawrence Old Jr.
Hey, everyone. Chris, thanks for having me on as usual. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. We also have the Paradox Nerd himself, PJ's with us.
Hi, guys. Let the trade war begin.
Absolutely. We also may have Thor on the show as well. He may be joining us later as well. But our very special guest, once again, the owner of Tweeterhead, Mr. Chad Colebank's with us tonight.
Hey, guys. Chad.
Hey, Chad.
Hey, Chad.
How's it going?
Welcome.
Thanks.
We're so glad to have you on the show. It's been a little while, but I'm really glad that you came back on. So you're the reason we're doing tonight's show. I was inspired by one of your live shows this last week on your Tweeterhead Facebook group. You're talking a little bit about the new Batman and some other things, answering viewer questions and stuff. But you started talking about some kind of the behind the scenes stuff that's going on right now with the trade war with China. I don't like to get religious or political on my channel at all, but I feel like this is an important topic because I do feel like it's going to impact the hobby in major ways if things continue to go the way they are. And so I'll turn it over to Chad. So Chad, like, what are some of the things that you're experiencing right now with some of the changes? Maybe explain to the group and to the audience kind of what's been going on.
So far, nothing ginormous yet. I gotta say, like, as far as affecting, like, and it is relevant. Like, I don't want to get political either, but it is relevant to the collectible community because this is going to impact us quite a bit, and to the action figure collectors and the kids that play with toys and board games. Like, this is going to affect everybody, but it goes even broader. It's going to affect the whole country. Without, again, getting too political, this is like a horrible situation. And, to be perfectly honest, like, whenever I do my videos, I just try to be as open as I can and as transparent as I can. And to be perfectly honest with you guys, if this wasn't hitting me in my pocketbook, I might not have had a fire lit under my butt like I do right now. It just literally pulled the rug out from under me what day was that? Was that Tuesday?
3 days ago? Yeah, 3 days ago or so. Yeah.
I think it was like Monday or Friday they started. No, it was I'm spacing out. I don't know what the day they did, but all I know is I was, for the past couple of months, I think before I released my 66 Batman Penguin, I've been paying a 10% tariff fee on everything that comes into the country. And so I had heard in May it might go up, but I didn't know where it was going to go to. So, basically I got up in the morning and my forwarder, who collects all of my stuff and brings it into the US for me, sent an email saying that June 1st, it was going to go up to 25%. And so I don't know if a lot of people know what that means exactly. And that's why when I was doing my video, I'm like, God, am I being like really reactionary because I'm going to mention it right now, the day it all happened? And what if it goes away? What if nothing happens in 2 days? It's all gone. But I was like, I've got to talk about it because, nobody seemed to be talking about it, And so basically what it is it's 25%. It used to be 10%, but now it's 25% of my commercial invoice. So whatever the factory charges me, before those goods are delivered to the US, I have to write a check to the US government for that amount of money. And at 10%, it was a hit. I mean, most of my stuff coming over, if I get a container, like a 40-foot container, it's about 2,600 bucks. That shot up easily double, if not more now. And when it goes to 25%, that's when it's going to just like, I mean, I'm not going to be dramatic and say it's going to put me out of business, but it potentially could, and it could put a lot of companies out of business. So, just imagine, that Superpowers Batman was one of my Superpowers Batman, Linda Carter Wonder Woman, Julie Newmar Catwoman, and Michelle Pfeiffer Catwoman. Those have been my 4 biggest sellers ever. And those Linda Carter Wonder Woman and Superpowers Batman are going to come in July, and so those are going to definitely get hit with this 25% tariff. So there's close to like $65,000 that I'm going to have to write a check for to just get those delivered to the U.S. And it's on so many different levels. For me personally, it doesn't make sense because it's not like, this check is just, I'm just writing it to the company that does all the duties and the customs fees. Like they just accept this check, and I don't know where it goes. I don't know what it's going for. But the thing too, having a pre-sale model with my business, like I can't say to you guys, hey, on Batman, I need to raise the price by $15, $18 because you ordered it a year ago. It's not fair, right? And what's going to happen, I think, is you're going to see, now I kind of understand, like lately some companies' prices have been going up a little bit, and I think that might be part of it. Like people were like preemptively thinking this might happen. But I will tell you that, like, from what I've been reading every day and talking to people, I don't think this is going to end anytime soon. And the tariff actually might even go up more. So, if it goes up to 35-40%, there is like an argument, why are we even making anything anymore,
Yeah, absolutely. I can't even imagine, and I just can't even imagine that kind of hike from 10 to 25. Like, I mean,
yeah,
gonna slap in the face, I would assume. For not just your company, but so many companies throughout the United States.
I mean, I'm small potatoes. I mean, think of like the huge companies. Think about like everything's made in China, right? I just read an article about heart valves. There's a hospital that they don't have heart valves because they're trying to get them in, and this tariff is freaking everybody out. So, unfortunately, on like on a shallow level, it kind of affects us because we're talking about getting statues imported from China. But if you think about everything else, it's what we love. It's what we collect. It's what we love to have, and to just think that, oh my God, we're paying so much now for the stuff. Imagine it being raised more and more and more. It's just a nightmare situation, to be perfectly honest. And I didn't think it was going to happen. I thought, oh, this is Friday. I think it was Friday. Yeah, it was Friday. Friday, I thought Friday this was going to come to some terms, but they didn't come to any terms. And without getting political, the only thing I will say is that there was a tweet that went out, and that's what prompted my whole video. Was the tweet said that there's absolutely no rush to do any kind of tariff deal because China is paying for the tariff fees, so we have nothing to worry about. And so all weekend long, I've been trying to make this video of me writing my check for Martian Manhunter because China is not paying our tariff fees. They're not. Like, I'm paying. I mean, China doesn't even know how much I'm going to be paying because when it gets here and it goes through the U.S. Customs, that's when they want the commercial invoice to calculate my invoice from my broker. So there's no way China is paying for us. Like, they're just not.
Well, you did a great job on your video. You kind of said, let's pretend like you put an order in for Batman and it was $100,000.
Yeah.
Then whenever it gets that's what you agree to pay. That's what the factory agrees to make it for, and then it's shipped over here via ship. And then when it gets to the port, that is when the tariffs are charged to you. So now that would be in 25%. That'd be $25,000 that you would then have to pay just to get that off the ship to you, correct?
100%. Yeah, they won't. So it's a couple things, like, and it's actually, and I'll be honest with you guys because this is like a smaller group. It's a lot more than $100,000 because I know that the other thing I was going to talk about too, which I got to be sensitive because other companies do watch some of my videos, is prices are going up like crazy, right?
Crazy.
There are companies that that I deal with that distribute my stuff. The prices are higher than ever, but the manufacturing cost, like you guys would not believe it. If I told you what it cost, what it costs to like those Batman, for instance, because the cape is so huge, and I don't want to ever reel myself in and make like smaller stuff or simpler stuff. And the Frank Miller Batman we're doing is on a really simple base, but the prices in the factory, like it's not just the companies here are not just oh hey, I'm going to mark it up $100 or $150 or $500 just because the guys are going to pay for it. The manufacturing costs have gone through the roof, like insanely through the roof. And unfortunately now, I'm in a situation where, like I told you, I'm small time for most of my stuff that I sell. But, we're dealing with me, Sideshow, Iron Studios, who else? Prime One, XM, QMX, DC, Diamond. There's probably 3 more I'm forgetting about because there seem to be new companies popping up all the time.
Queen Studios.
Yeah, exactly. But the factories are now so overwhelmed that they can give us a price, and if you don't like it, kind of tough, And they will do you a favor in making your stuff if it's a small quantity. Luckily, the factory I've been with called Lucky, they made Mixoplick, and they're redoing all the Superman. They did all my 66 stuff. Everything else turned out beautiful. Like they're great guys, but at the same time, they're businessmen too. And when you have Prime One knocking at your door, and Sideshow and XM and Tweeterhead, like they're going to prioritize like what's going to be serviced first, right?
Yeah.
When my stuff is late, I hate to do it, but that's why I just do my videos. And I'm like, look, I'm not going to lie to you because I want to tell you the truth. But I kind of went off on a tangent with that. But to get back to the tariff, it's unbelievable to think that I might write a check for like $35,000. That is just I don't know where it's going. I don't know what it's for. I'm never going to get it back. It's a tax write-off, but in this business, you have plenty of tax write-offs.
Yeah. Well, I just want to say that I think I could speak for the entire panel. That just what you were just talking about. That's like the most refreshing thing that I think we've heard from anybody that produce statues, because we have oftentimes thought, the community has oftentimes thought that this is probably the case, but sure. because people aren't transparent or people don't come out and say it, then people make assumptions. People assume that the bigger statue companies are incredibly greedy, that they don't care. They just, people, like you said, people will keep paying it. Sure. But for you to come out and say, hey, this is the way it is. Like the factories, they're overloaded. They're the ones that are charging so much more because they can, because everybody still wants to use them for production. That makes sense to me, and that makes me feel a lot better about the community and knowing what's going on with statues, because again, there's just a lot of, like, hey Tim, you just said whenever you responded to that, like, prices are going insane. And Tweeterhead has consistently, and that might have to change, but you've consistently said, this is what I want the price to be. I want it to be affordable for the collectors. But at this point, with these tariffs, that's going to put you in a harder spot, I would assume. And I would assume, like, bigger companies especially, I would assume they're not going to pay it. They're going to push it toward the consumer. So it's tough.
Hey,
yeah,
Chad.
Okay.
Just a question. Where I go with this, and my thought is, and it's probably way off, but I'm just curious if there's like a breaking point in terms of, okay, let's say that tariff gets to 35-40%, continues to go, and we also hear that the manufacturers are charging more in China and charging more in China. What's the opportunity to look elsewhere for production in terms of outside of China?
So that's a great question, and that is something that I haven't done yet, because honestly, I don't know how to do it. I mean, whenever I first started doing this, I was talking to my friend David Fisher, who paints all my stuff for the photographs and all the internet stuff. And I just said to him, oh my God, what factories do people use? And he's like, oh, I used to send stuff to a factory called Lucky and another factory. And that's how I kind of like got to know these factories. Because when I started 5 years ago, and even now, like if you called up, I don't know, X company, and you're like, hey, what factory do you guys manufacture out of? They're not going to tell you, because nobody
they don't want to compete.
wants to share the factory because they don't want to be overloaded. But for me, I'm the opposite. Whenever I started, I was like, hey, if you ever want to get in the business, just ask me. I'll tell you. DAK, Lucky, Happy Life. The other one I used, I forget their name, but I hate hiding information like that. I think let's all trade nice together, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, so the thing is, but yeah, it's like, I mean, my Donna Troy that I'm doing, when I got the first quote for her, it was out of this world. And I remember I called and I'm like, you can't be serious. This is the simplest character in the world. She's just standing there, looking over her shoulder, what? There's 4 pieces. And it was just they came down, thank God. But they are always going to give you the highest fee they can start off with. And the problem now is that, with the tariff, is that the more I sell, the more I'm going to have to pay to get the stuff here. And I thought it was going to go away, but every day I get up and I'll read about it and read these things, and it doesn't seem like it's going to go away in the next couple of months. And I don't know if we're going to see prices jump up right away, because I think companies know now that the prices are so high already. Can you imagine charging an extra? I mean, for me, they're small, right? They're not big pieces. I mean, the problem is that, for me, it's not a lot of money. For instance, on my Martian Manhunter, if I charged an extra 15%, it would be $12 more, right? But that was a really limited piece. Not a lot of people bought that. So I'm like, if I charge an extra $12, less people are going to buy it, or do I just eat that $12 and just deal with this as a new reality, And so it's kind of hit or miss. But I'm not going to just jack my prices up tomorrow. And if I do, I've been thinking about this a lot too. Is if I do this month, Shazam's coming out. There's 2 Frank Miller Batmans. I'm not going to raise those up at all because I don't know in a year what's going to be happening. But if I eventually see that the writing's on the wall that this is going to be 6 to 8 months out, or if they come to an agreement, the U.S. and China, there's been some notion that tariff is going to stay in place. It's not going anywhere. So the tariff doesn't just disappear if they make an agreement. So if that's the case, I might do something where I raise the prices. I tell you guys I'm going to raise it to $15, and if when the statue ships, the tariff's no longer in effect, I'll refund you the $15 each one. Which is a lot
super noble of it.
That's incredible.
But it's but you gotta you can't raise the price on something and then have it not be in effect when I ship it 8 months later and be like, well, you still got to give me that money. It doesn't it's not right. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Can I jump in here with a quick question?
Yeah, go for it.
So is this tariff state that it's any product that's manufactured in China, no matter where it gets shipped from?
Yeah, anything that's manufactured in China, and I think I know where you're going with that. Anything that gets manufactured in China has the tariff applied to it. I don't know. So it's only certain categories. So it used to be when it was 10%, it was a little category, but my stuff fell into that category.
Right.
And now that it's 25, they opened it up to 3 different types of categories. And I don't think automobiles are there yet. I think I read today that the automobile industry is on pins and needles, because that is going to be the big wallet buster. Every automobile that comes into America is got a 25% tariff on it.
Chad, I think we lost your mic.
Oh, can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There we go.
What I was saying is
That's wild.
I don't think the automobile industry is affected yet, but I think I read an article today that said if that's the next step is to bust every car coming into the U.S.
Yeah.
Because right now it's is it primarily toys? I know Mattel and some of the other toy companies were affected. That's one of them? Do you know what the other one is?
So there's 3. There's there's a ton of them. Basically right now, any paper products, I think any obviously any collectibles, any action figures, any toys, any board games. But if you go on Google and look, there's actually it definitely hit almost all categories.
Yeah.
So it's broader and broader. But the big thing was the toy industry. I mean, Mattel is freaking out. They're just what the hell are we going to do? Because they bring so much stuff over, right? I mean, I read an article. Home Depot is like, we don't think we're going to have any Christmas whatsoever because the way their business model works is they get all the stuff brought over from the factories for their Christmas launch, and if it doesn't sell, then they just store it. So they're like, we can't take a chance on having all this stuff come in. It doesn't sell. We paid 25% on it, and it's just going to sit until next year or be discounted out or something, So you're going to see it. I think Christmas time is when we're really going to start to see a lot of this coming to fruition.
Yeah.
A lot of prices going up.
Well, the scary thing to me is that, if, knowing the behind the scenes stuff a little bit and knowing that, more than likely a lot of the bigger companies are probably going to push that money toward the consumer, which, I think Tim said earlier today, like $1,000 is the new norm. It's kind of where we're at with the fourth scale, and I collect third scale. And so I worry that's, that people are already starting to get burned out at that price point. And it's clearly going to keep going up. But if it goes up even more now because of this, God forbid if they get to that 40% or whatever, it's just, it's scary to think of what's going to happen to the community. And, I don't want to see it get there, and so I think that worries me a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, and it's going to get to the point, I think, where, I think that the larger companies are going to have no choice but to just raise the prices. But, we're just going to have to see what happens,
Chad, quick question, and thank you for actually being transparent and behind the scenes. It kind of just clears up a lot of things, because I think I was probably one of the collectors, the few collectors that were kind of speculating, I guess, that the reason why these prices were going up was because of A, the market, and B, the companies just getting greedy. So thank you for clearing that up. And I eat my words for the people, for the company that I said that, oh, they're just being greedy. Yeah. My question is that when does it get to a breaking point where if these tariffs are going to be around? And from what I heard, even though say they resolve this for a while, the trade agreement between, or the trade relationship with China has been broken, and it'll take many years, including the next president that comes in, to kind of mend that relationship. So my question is that, as a company, how do you prepare for something like that, besides the fact that besides raising prices? Would you make lesser pieces, or just lesser of an edition size, so that you can still fulfill the characters that you want to create, and at the same time still be able to satisfy the needs of the community?
This is so new. I don't really know how it's all going to roll out. Right now, I'm not changing anything. I've got the rest of the year planned out. I've got next year for the most part planned out. But I don't know. Honestly, I can't tell you, because it's so new right now.
Yeah.
I'd have a different opinion about it. But for me, like I said, my stuff is so inexpensive that, as far as retail, right, as far as compared to the other companies, that if I had to raise it $15, I hope people would understand why. Yeah. And I'm not going to cover it up. I'm just going to say, guys, this is the tariff. I'll give it back to you if it's not in place when you get the item. Mm-hmm. But it's one of those things where I don't know, to be honest. It's scary, because it's what I've tried to do, and what my plan is to do some of these different characters. So when you see this new Batman line you're doing, there are going to be a lot of kind of crazy versions that people might not necessarily purchase or buy. But hey, that's the same thing. Who in the hell makes the Wonder Twins? I've been working on the Wonder Twins for freaking years, right? Yeah. And it's you never know when you release something if you're going to sell 5 or 500 or 5,000. So, but right now I'm not stopping anything. I'm not going to let this destroy my company or destroy me. I just got to figure a way around it. Yeah. And figure out, if I do have to cut these giant checks, I don't want to be invisible when I'm doing it. I'm going to do it when I do my live video, and just make it a platform, and without being political, just make it a platform and be like, look, I just wrote this check for this much money. no one in China is paying this money. I am, and it's it is what it is. Well, I don't have a choice.
And there's no, a lot of people in the chat are asking. Sorry if I cut anybody off, but a lot of people in the chat are asking, and I think we all know the answer. Can you move the production to a different country or to the United States specifically to avoid that tax? But
no, when I did my first thing I ever did was that little pinup witch. Her name is Kimba the Witch, and that was the first thing I ever did. I took it to a sideshow. They said, "Oh, we'd love to distribute it." That's how they actually are the reason I'm doing this, because they got me into this whole thing. And I looked, because my big thing was I'm going to have made in America on my box. I want to have my statue made in America. I couldn't find any factory here to do it, because that's the other thing. It's like what this has done for me, this whole tariff thing. In fact, I called all my factories on Sunday night. And I just apologized to them for the way our government is acting and the way that we're, nobody knows. Everyone has this misconception that everyone in the factory makes 5 cents an hour. They're working their fingers to the bone. They're working all hours of the night. And maybe that I know that was true at one point, but the factories that I deal with, they are beautiful facilities. They're huge, campuses, and they don't just bring someone in off the street and give them a paintbrush and say, "Here, paint this Catwoman." They send them to months of training, and they spend so much money to train them, and make sure they know what they're doing, and they work normal hours. They make a living wage. I mean, people that I talk to that are my friends that work at the factory, because we Skype all the time, they're getting done work and going to the movies and going to dinner and going to have beer. And when I wake up and I either talk to them now, which is their morning, 9 o'clock, or else I'll get up at 4:30 or 5, and it's their nighttime. And sometimes they're out to dinner or out to whatever. But what I think is really horrible is that everyone just thinks these are these slaves working, like I said, their fingers to the bone, but they're not. They're actually cool people. They make all this stuff behind you guys, right? They're so talented. So
it's not like an Apple factory.
Yeah, exactly. And it's it's not like you can just say,
Sorry.
"Hey, I'm from West Virginia."
Or a Samsung factory.
I'm from West Virginia, and there are so many towns in West Virginia where the coal mines aren't operable anymore. And there was a documentary I saw, and they were saying why don't they open up factories here and we can start manufacturing stuff? And it's not that easy.
Right.
Stuff that I'm working on in China, I'm working on the statues, obviously. We're publishing books. I've got a whole line of stuff I'm doing with Dita Von Teese that includes some fabric stuff and porcelain stuff and all this other stuff. And it is the word skilled labor is an understatement. These people are brilliant artists. I mean, the people that are doing these scarves that I'm making, they're, I don't know if you guys know anything about silk scarves, but the edges, they roll the edges really fine little rolls, and then they put the stitches in, and they're just top of the line products. I'm Chris, looking at you, all the statues behind you, and the Prime One stuff and the sideshow stuff. I mean, that's where I get a little oh god, is sometimes people will take some of the products and really start picking them apart. And it's that's such a small percentage of what's actually coming out of that factory. Now, my speaking is another story. That was 100%. But something a product that comes out and people start talking about every little flaw it has. I mean, you got to imagine these guys are painting thousands
all day. Actually, Chad, to piggyback off of what you were saying about the manufacturing cost, my sister is actually a supply and chain management in that career, and she always tells me the reason why a lot of stuff is going up is because there is an environmental law. I'm not too sure about stuff like that, but she told me that they actually have to make these factories workable, and that's why they probably upgraded a lot of the stuff. And she said that's probably contributing to a lot of prices going up, because they do have to pay for these the factories that they're working in to be workable to human beings. So that's why
And I'll tell you, I mean, and it's not as much that as like, because I've seen all the factories that I work with, not in person, but they'll send me like videos or they'll Skype and walk around, and they're not horrible conditions. But I think what she's talking about is now when you get a license, there's a part of your license that the contract that your factory has to be what do they call it? Compliant.
Compliant,
So
yeah, environmental, yeah.
compliant. And so there are all different tiers of compliance, but that was where I ran into the issue with my universal license when I was making the Munsters way back when. Is they have the hardest auditing system of any company, like even harder than Disney, harder than Warner Brothers, harder. And Disney is gigantic, right? But Universal has the strictest compliance of any company, period. And so I was making my Munsters, and I made Herman, Lily, then I did that clock with spot wrapped around it, and that was whenever it was really weird. Universal was my very first license ever, and so I was making the clock, and I was doing it at my factory. I did Herman and Lily, and there were no problem. And all of a sudden, there were no Universal products coming out as far as statues or model kits or anything. And my buddy, who owned a model kit company, and I won't tell you the company, he called me up like really frustrated, and he's like, "Hey, did you get this email on January 1st? It said that we can't use X factory anymore because they're on the blacklist, and that means there's no factory, so we can't produce anything. So our license, we're just paying the license to just lay dormant, right? And they are not extending it. Like there's no, like if it was a year without a factory to use, they don't extend it a year because there were no factories. It's on you to find a factory that's compliant and then to get the audit. And so I was having my clocks manufactured there, and thank God I only did 85. But this model kit guy was at a show in Las Vegas and met with Universal, just like we do in San Diego. We meet with all the studios. But he was meeting with Universal, and he said, "Hey, do you have any factories that are compliant yet?" And they're like, "No." And he's like, "Well, how the hell is Tweeterhead doing their Munster stuff still?" And da, 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 da. So long story short, he called me up. "I'm so sorry, but they're really pissed. They want to talk to you. They didn't know you were." And I was like, "Well, the guy that I've been dealing with isn't at Universal anymore." So it all turned out okay because Universal used to be a television division and a movie division for their licensing, and they got rid of the television division. And at Universal, when they're talking about their movies, right? Fast and Furious, whatever that Minions movie is, this movie, that movie, no one is giving crap about the one, right? So they didn't even know who Tweeterhead was. And so when I called them up and I said, like, "Hey, I'm freaking out because my first license ever, I have this stuff being made." And basically the woman was super nice. She said, "It's okay. If you hadn't told us you're having that stuff made, I could have had you destroy it on camera and show us a video of you destroying it all." She said, "But it's water under the bridge. But from now on, you can't make Marilyn or Grandpa or Eddie until this factory gets renewed." And so I'm like, "Well, I got to get those made. I got to do it somehow, right?" So you beg and beg and beg. The factory gets audited. They come back with all these red check marks, orange check marks, yellow check marks, and they have to do the red ones immediately. Then they have to show that they're working on the other ones. But it could be something as like you were saying, like moving a sink, 50 feet out of the way of where the people were sitting and working because it's just not environmentally awesome to be working next to it.
Yeah.
So I don't understand all of it. I've seen the audit reports, but they're like 1 million pages, and I don't understand what all the stuff means. But yeah, all of that stuff is pushing the prices up.
Mm-hmm.
But that stuff I think is worth it because, you don't want people sitting in some dank factory like painting stuff in the dark, and it's absolutely
breathing bad paint and
absolutely, yeah. You want it to be
the factories. Because the factories that do the statues, they also do so many other things that we don't know about. Like, the one factory they came out to San Francisco. They brought out, it was the owner of the factory and a woman that I deal with at the factory, and they came out to San Francisco and they got here and they were like, "Oh, we want to come to your office." I'm like, "Oh my God, I'm sitting on it. Like, that's my office in my living room." And so I went out and I ended up getting them and taking them to dinner and taking them all around San Francisco. And we had a great evening. But it was Christmas time, and I took them to a bunch of hotels because the lobbies are decorated so cool, and all the gift shops and everything. And they were in the gift shops. And actually, we walked into the hotel lobby, and they were like, "Oh my God, the snowman! Look at the snowman!" And we made those. We make all that stuff. They were like, "We make all the Christmas decor for Home Depot that they sell. We make flooring. They make composite flooring materials. They make. I mean, the collectibles is like this much of their production. They have factories all over that make everything. This is just part of it. But to go back to that, all that stuff, like you said, flooring, everything at Home Depot, all the light fixtures, equipment for. I read an article with a guy that has a lawn mowing business, a landscape business. And he's like, all the parts I order all come from China. So, to kind of go back to where we started, we're gonna see either prices go up or people, like I said, I'll eat the $15 because it's not your fault, right? I mean, it's not anybody's fault here. It's not any of my customers' fault. So I don't really feel like I want to mark stuff up to like just cover my ass.
Well, that $15 is going to be so much more respected than, some other companies are $100, $200 more than they were a year ago.
Well, that's the thing too. And I mean, imagine like my commercial invoice, it might be, some days it's $36,000, some days it's $136,000.
Mm-hmm.
But imagine like other companies, like where it's like, I mean, it's millions of dollars.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's crazy to think like the numbers, like it's.
Well, I heard that they were saying is that now's the best time to buy a TV before the tariffs because it's going to go insane.
Now it's the best time to buy anything.
Anything, yeah.
Absolutely.
I mean, if you need a TV or if you need anything, I mean, look at IKEA. Anything from freaking IKEA is going to be through the roof. I mean, all that stuff comes over here,
Okay. Let me get my besties now. Holy damn.
I mean, so it's, I'm not as freaked out as I was a couple of days ago because when I first read it, I was just like, oh my God, is this going to put me out of business? And then I'm like, no, it's not going to put me out of business. It's going to put some companies out of business. Small mom and pop shops are going to be struggling.
Absolutely.
And, I think then, we just have to look at who we support as far as who we buy stuff from and think more about that. And it's, this just has started. Like, we're probably going to be talking about this for months to come,
Yeah.
Well, go ahead, PJ.
Sorry, real quick. Chad, I mean, like, what I noticed with a lot of your statues and is that they're at a consistent price point, and even if it goes up like $15, it's not like a drastic change. I just want to know like the fluctuations between certain statues between certain companies. Why one price is this one for this, and then another price is this. It's just big, huge fluctuations. Where yours is like consistent. Is there any?
I think a lot of that has to do, honestly, with I work like I don't know if you guys saw my video, but Debbie, who used to work with me, she's no longer with me, except for she's staying around to do the one hardest thing that we do. And that's like keep track of all the orders and ask people to pay their balances and all that stuff. But for the most, she got a job offer that, Deb's a single mom, divorced single mom with 2 kids. And, she's working with me and it was part-time. And she got an offer to this awesome job, 15 minutes from her house, like 3 times what I was paying her with full benefits. And it was, when she told me about it, I'm like, you got to take it. Like, there's just no way you can't. But I think a lot of it has to do with that it's just me and my sculptor and my painter. That's it. So, other companies have I've got a concept artist, but everybody, like, I'm still so small, right? But imagine like when you see like Prime One at the convention and they have all their employees and there's 18 million employees. I'm just like, whoa, how do they pay all those employees? Like, how do they do it, But so I think that has to do a little bit of it. It's just the amount of design work and the amount of like that they put into it, where for me it's like like today I was like, oh, I'm supposed to make this thing before the end of the year and I think I want to make Black Canary instead. I'll get some kind of draw it and then we'll work on it. So it's a lot for me. It's just simpler. And then also like I don't know how you guys not afford, but I don't know how you guys afford all this.
No, it's the right
I ask myself that every day.
I mean, and the thing is, they get everything that comes out for me personally when I see it, like sometimes I beat the crap out of myself because I'll see other people's stuff and I'm like, it's bigger, but I want to start to do a little teensy bit more with what I'm doing because the stuff coming out lately is so beautiful. It is just like fantastic. And you guys know I love Sideshow, but I mean, I don't know why people are slagging that Starfire of theirs. She is so gorgeous, and I've seen her in person, and she's freaking incredible.
Yeah, well, I was
Even
actually
Lord, bro.
The pictures never do the pieces justice. I will tell you that. I don't even like to look at the photos of my Batgirl statue because I think it looks horrible. In person, she is so freaking beautiful. But those photos just look. It is so hard sometimes to photograph a statue.
Yeah, sometimes I'm amazed by, just they have some of the best photographers in the world taking these pictures, but they just, you're right, they just don't do them justice. I wanted to bring up the point, like you said, and I had never really thought about the overhead of paying all the employees. I had not really thought of that, and to think about how many people are at Sideshow or how many people are at Prime One. That's a really good point that you made. I don't know if people always think that way to think. You think they have their 20 core people, but then there's hundreds and hundreds of people outside of that, and shipping and paint department, just everything else. Yeah.
If I'll tell you really quick. Let me just see if I can find this. Can you guys still see me or no?
Yeah, we can see you.
Yeah.
I don't think this is coming in as. I know where to go find it. Hold on one sec. I'll just run down a list for you guys of what it takes to kind of get from me what it takes to get something to the U.S. Right?
Sure.
And I'm looking at my email with this list, so I apologize if I'm not looking at the camera. But okay, so this is like running down to get a sculpture made from the very beginning until the very end. I put it in the mail to you guys, right? So the first thing is the concept artist, which I won't put fees to all of the stuff because some of it's a little mind blowing. But so you come up with a character, you get the concept artist. First you have to get the license. So you have to, you get your license, which costs tens and tens and tens of thousands, if not $100,000+. Then you get your concept artist to say, hey, I want to do Zatanna. Can you do some like poses of Zatanna? And so the clock starts there, right? Then you settle on your pose. You have to get somebody to digitally sculpt it, and that's really one of the most expensive pieces of this whole puzzle, which it should be because that's the bones of what you're making. Get it sculpted, then you have to have it printed out, digitally printed or 3D printed. Then you have to have it mold and cast, and that's a ton of silicone. And then you have 4 or 5 castings made. Then you have the paint masters made. Then if you think about just from this point on, all the shipping and handling that's gone back and forth between painters, casters, mold people, etc. But then you have your prototype, right? So then the next step is you have to ship off your paint masters and your casting master to the factory, so they can tell you how much it's going to cost to make this thing.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So then the factory comes back and says this costs X amount of dollars per unit. If you do 500, if you do 1,000, it's this much. If you do 1,500, it's this much. Then they say, okay, so it's this much to make the piece. But then you also have to pay to have the polyfoam mold made, which is the white carton that the things stick into. Like that's this thing that they have to actually make. And then they make your sample, and they make you 2 samples. They charge you for both samples. Then there's more shipping back and forth. And then they tell you, hey, this is what it's going to cost to make it. You've got this ginormous amount of money. You've got to write us a check. So then they say, okay, it's done, it's made, it's in the box. We did the 6-foot drop test, everything's good. Now we're gonna ship it to you. So we're gonna have to palletize it. That costs an extra charge. Then to get the forwarder to come and pick it up, that's an extra charge. Then you pay basically to get it loaded into a container and shipped over to the US. It arrives in the US. You have to pay the trucking company to deliver it to your warehouse. And you have to pay a group of people, if you don't already have them working for you, to come and unload the container for you. Actually, I got to go a step back. So just little pieces like the little UPC barcodes. Each one of those is I think like $100. You have to get that to go in the box. You got to store the stuff until you get it shipped out. You've got to pay someone to come up with a box art. That's a step I should have put in back there too. before you sell it, you've got to pay. I got to pay my webmaster to put it on the site. You've got to get a photograph. If you want to put it in Diamond Comics and previews, that's $1,500 for a quarter page or for a half page ad. And then you've got to pay royalties to the studio on top of that. So, I think people think that it's just like, and I used to think this, let's just make this statue and this is what it costs. But there are so many extra costs that are just like, just dumb stuff. Like you don't remember. Like I didn't even have the concept artist on my list that I came up with today. And now I'm like, oh my God, how much have I paid Andrew? But yeah, it's so much.
It's just crazy. I'm so happy again with your transparency because it's just like all of that makes sense.
Yeah.
There's 30 steps. Every step that you make along the way for each statue is another dollar amount. Like that's just crazy.
Yeah, and I wish a lot more companies were a little bit more not full transparency, but just a little bit of transparency where a lot of collectors can like put down their pitchforks and not be like, oh, okay, now we get it. Like that's the reason why.
That's what I want to do with this Hawk Girl thing. And like I didn't know Debbie was leaving, and so that kind of threw this Hawk Girl project for a loop, which I'm going to rethink it a little bit about how to be more inclusive than just people on Statue Forum. Mm-hmm. I wanted to really show people like from that idea, okay, well, who are we going to do? We already did that. We decided Hawk Girl, and then be like, okay, now let's get one piece done, and then let's go. What's the next step? What's the next step? Because like I said, this should be fun, right? This should be fun for all of us. We should enjoy it. I know how I feel when people pick my stuff apart or talk about it, like, oh, I hate that, or they did this wrong, or you screwed up Batgirl's belt. Like I thought it was so cool. Like I was going to do that homage to Yvonne Craig and do that little round oval Batgirl belt, and I got my butt kicked. And so then I was like, okay, well, I can fix that. What we're going to do, we're going to do 2 different belt buckles. Those plop on. There's the bat one and the other one. But, it's one of those things where I'm like, I know how I feel. So when I go and see people slagging on stuff that just got previewed, I'm just like, oh, just give them a chance already, Because in the long run, I think if you buy the stuff and get it, like you're going to love it, I mean, and, I'm not going to pick out any specific pieces, but, things just look so much nicer in person than in photos. I'll just kind of leave it at that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Go
ahead, Lawrence.
With the way that production costs continue to rise and all the other costs that we've talked about, and certainly the tariffs, would you consider, as long as you could keep the look that you were going for, or even enhance the look that you were going for, using different materials to create the same thing? So, for example, Iron Studios, on some of their larger 1/3 scale pieces, which I think they call as prime scale for them, they've used like for the Ivan Riaz 1/3 scale things, they've used some plastic in those, and it's turned out really exceptional, regardless of it being plastic versus resin or polystone or whatever. And so, like the 1/3 scale Batman, like
Sure.
that big giant cape that's beautiful and flowing is plastic. Or Superman, that cape is plastic. Or you can get, I bet you that Hawkman that's coming out with those giant wings.
Yep.
There's no way that those aren't plastic. And then I think Jeff on the panel here, he's got a lot of Iron Studios pieces, and I think he can vouch for the fact that like Falcon behind him, those wings are plastic. So I didn't know if that's something that you would also consider doing at some point if it got too much, or if you're really stuck
So
on
let me ask you a question. Did you see a difference in price with the stuff with the plastic on it? Because
no, I mean their 1/3 scale statues are $1,000.
Okay, because I'm not saying I'd be opposed to the plastic part, but I think that I know, because I'm working on our first action figure right now, and it is the biggest friggin' nightmare I've ever been involved in my life. But anything that's plastic like that, it has to be steel mold, and so the cost, like if I make a polystone statue, resin statue, the mold cost is almost nothing, right? Because they pour as many as they can, then they remold it and pour as many. But if you're going to do stuff that's plastic, it has to be with steel mold. And I know that those molds are like so much more expensive. Like they're like, I mean, this little action figure I'm doing, like, I mean, it might be one of the most expensive things I've ever made, ever, because it's all steel molds. So I wouldn't say I wouldn't go the plastic route, but I don't think it's economical unless I'm missing something. Because I know that what are the Funko things made out of? PVC or vinyl?
Vinyl.
So vinyl, I think, are not super expensive steel molds, but I don't want to go with vinyl stuff. I don't want to go there yet. But so I don't know, to be honest. I don't. It's a great question, but I don't really know. But who had the Iron Studio stuff behind you?
I have Iron Studio stuff.
Jeff has it. I've got the 1/3 scale Batman. And then I think too, like that Hawkman. The Hawkman was a little more. He's pricier because it's so big. Yeah. I mean, he's like $1,500 or something like that with those big open wings. But I mean, I'm sure that those wings are probably plastic. And I think too, in terms of just the shipping of something like that, the breakage, you've got to worry about with a harder piece. So that might be. I'm sure that's why they went with plastic on those. But
Dan and Jeff, you both have the Thanos behind you, or was there anything plastic, or was it all polystone?
The one thing that feels like plastic is the cap shield.
Yeah.
This little proximity piece, which I kind of don't understand even the purpose of it really, but
this little thing.
Yeah, exactly. But
I think the gauntlet is even sculpted.
Yeah, I think it is too. Yeah, the whole thing is very high quality, but I think, guys, it boils down to it's kind of a value equation. I think when we look at the prices going up and so forth. I mean, look at the popularity in the community around the Prime 1 statues. They're arguably the most expensive statues on the market, but they are delivering a high value for the dollar, and I'm not sure that anybody really minds paying it. I think the burnout comes when you're not receiving the value that you feel like the product should deliver. I know that's when I feel burnt out. When you're overpaying, at certain companies that are now charging $700 and $800 for statues that are $300 and $400 with a arguable perceived value that's the same.
Yeah.
Yeah, the production doesn't the quality doesn't increase with the price.
Yeah,
and a lot of it too is like if I talk to anybody who doesn't collect statues or any of this stuff, and they say, "Oh, you collect like toys," and I'm like, "No, these are literally the highest end version of this kind of collectible. If there's anything higher, I'd collect it. This is the top tier. It doesn't get any higher quality than this stuff."
Exactly. And I think, Chad, for your stuff, I mean, the Tweeterhead stuff is so beautiful. And like PJ was saying about the price point, the value for me is super high on your stuff. And I'm looking, at one of your pieces right now, and I think, wow, I mean, $15. How would I feel about another $15? It wouldn't even enter, stream thought. Whereas other companies with their $600 and $700 statues, and the next one that comes out, they're adding, another 45. Like it seems like it has been climbing. That just
Well, I mean, in some cases, Dan, it would be another $700. It's like, whoa, okay,
yeah,
all righty then.
Yeah,
the shipping on. I think I've seen a lot of people like on Statue Forum on some of the Facebook groups talk about. I know how much if I ship I'm going to ship out Friday the Martian Manhunters, the international orders. Mm-hmm. The shipping boggles my mind, like $165, and it's not even like a refrigerator sized box like Prime 1 stuff comes in.
Somebody said today a collector got the Sideshow Doomsday in, and he said he lives like 20 minutes from Sideshow. He lives in California, really close, and he said like the last statue he got that was like Bane or somebody like Bane behind me here. It was like $45 to ship it, and he said the Doomsday was $165, and it's just down the road. Like what is that?
Yeah, I think someone
half
PVC. So like how does that? It's not that heavy.
It's the dimensional weight. It's the size of the
dimensional
box.
Weight. That's what dimensional weight, and that's where like I get killed when I bring stuff into the U.S. because it's all based on the CBMs, which is like how much stuff weighs, but then they also figure in how big the box is and how many pallets it's going to be. So I've been with UPS for 6 years now, but I will tell you that like the prices aren't going down and they're not staying the same. They just keep going up. So it really everything is going up. I think it's just kind of that's what the title of this video should be, like everything's going up, because it's like it's going up. When I sell something, like when I put something on pre-order, like this new Shazam, right? I have to equate a shipping amount with it. But in 8-9 months when it's ready, I can guarantee you the shipping is going to be higher. And it's just part of the business,
Yeah.
Yeah,
I heard that like a lot of shipping costs went up this year, like the beginning of the year.
Yeah.
I used to work in UPS, like in the warehouse, and each truck, depending on the size, there was like a target number of packages that they wanted you to load into it. And if they have stuff in like envelope or small box, they want you to zip them into a bag. And then the bag has like a count that they need to hit. And it's like, it's crazy the amount of stuff they want packed into these trucks, because each truck is the amount of fuel, is the amount of driver, is the amount of trip. And you're like, they're trying to squeeze as much as they can into it,
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Hey, Chad, we just had a super chat from Dead Cool Pool. They asked about RuPaul. Is there any update on RuPaul?
Oh yeah, it's here in America now. We're just waiting to get it in the warehouse. That piece has taken so long. Oh my god.
Well, that's good news. It sounds like Dead Cool Pool, and it'll be heading your way here soon. I also want to give out a shout out real quick to Jason Wilkinson. Jason did a $50 super chat earlier today just to start us off. So thank you very much for that.
Jason's awesome, man. Seriously.
Yeah,
awesome.
Jason.
All that goes back into the channel. So thank you very, very much, both of you, for doing super chats. That's so cool of you.
Yeah.
Let's get ready to wrap this up before we look at pictures. Does anybody else have any final thoughts or words or questions for Chad?
Just more Masters of the Universe stuff.
I was gonna say that too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Please.
Orco's phenomenal.
Thanks. I love Orco so much.
I
have Orco
Yeah, I
too.
told you guys, we're like that close to this Universal license. It's just, it's it's like something that was happening, and then there was some questions that it's happening, and then it's questions, and then there was like the compliance issue, which I have to make sure my factory is compliant first, and then there was then the whole thing with the movie, where it's like, oh, the movie's coming out, are we gonna like kind of make it too broad if we have this statue line and that statue line and this, because we want to concentrate on movie stuff. But I believe it's going to happen. And like I said, we've already got Hordak. It's sculpted. He's actually being printed out right now. And he is killer. He's big and he is scary. And Hila is already concepted out, ready to start.
Oh man, don't tell me that.
You just made Lawrence very, very happy tonight.
Oh, geez.
Oh man.
If we like, the lineup would be like, if we get to do it, Hordak, Tila, probably Trapjaw next.
Oh shit.
How to throw hero in there. I want to do a hero villain, but we've got rough concepts for everything. We've got Tila, Man at Arms, Trapjaw, Beastman, Sorceress, Merman.
Oh god.
And we got a couple of the She-Ra characters, like Catra. We want to do like a super smoking Catra.
Oh wow. And these are going to be all 1/5, right, Chad?
Yeah. And
Right.
I wish I could see the Hordak. It is like, anyone that's seen it is like, that's the scariest thing ever. Like, he is so creepy.
Hey, Lawrence, you remember on the last show when you said you're about done collecting?
Yeah, no, I hate you.
Yeah, that's not gonna happen now, man.
Yeah, I love He-Man. That's like, besides DC and He-Man are like neck and neck. Everyone is always like Star Wars. I'm like, I just didn't grow up with Star Wars. I didn't get it. Like, I'm not saying anything bad about it. It just doesn't have any like heart. It doesn't pull on my heartstrings at all. I was like He-Man and DC Comics and G.I. Joe.
Yeah, I'm with you. And it'll be interesting. I mean, if you guys end up doing the new movie He-Man too, hopefully those designs are cool. I mean,
hopefully the movies are cool. Wait,
Yeah, right,
The new movie, or right? You're talking
the new movie. I mean, even if the movie ends up being shit, if the design looks cool, I'd be down.
Yeah, instead of, and I probably won't do. In fact, I'll just say it. I'm not going to do anything with that movie, because for me, it's like Sideshow created that awesome He-Man world, and I don't want to do anything except keep populating that world with pieces that go along with that.
Awesome.
And like
Cool.
when you see when you eventually see what our version of Tila looks like, I've said it before, that Sideshow He-Man stuff, it's ready to go to the screen right now. It's like just scale it up to a human size and put it on film,
Yeah.
I think Skeletor is, I mean, besides all the Tweeterhead stuff that I'm teasing, Skeletor, it honestly is, I think it's one of the best collectibles, if not the best ever made. I love that Skeletor. Number one.
What?
Sorry, it's something with Mike.
Mr. Mix looks like he's number one. Actually.
People are in the chat are saying it's possessed, so it's pretty fun. Speaking of people in the chat, there's over 80 people watching right now. Everybody hit that thumbs up for Chad, please, for being here tonight.
Hell yeah.
That is just awesome. It's been so cool to hear about all of this stuff. It's just been amazing. So we usually look at photos of some of the pre-orders that are out here in the next year or so, but it's new for this week. Do you want to stick around and check them out with us?
I would love to, guys, but I didn't realize it was after 7, so I got to go.
No problem.
Thank you so much. This is awesome. And, again, I'd love to pop on anytime you guys want me. Just give me a shout. And just thanks for doing what you're doing.
Absolutely. The first picture we have up actually is your new Frank Miller Batman, the teaser that you did. Is there anything you want to tell us before you leave about that?
Yeah, sure. So again, that's Jason Wires, who we've done like Starfire, Green Lantern, Joker, Harley Quinn, the Dogs. And who else did we just do? There's Martian Manhunter. He's been really passionate about helping out and making some of his own things. And so this was his baby. He's like, do you mind if I do a line of Batman, which kind of has expanded into other heroes, but it's going to be multiple versions of Batman, different iterations, different appearances, different times, different years.
Yeah,
and
a timeline.
Yeah. And some obscure stuff, some stuff that you haven't seen before, some stuff you may have seen before. But the Frank Miller was the one he wanted to start with, and I think it looks fantastic. So these are going to be on simple bases, so it's not this crazy base. So we're trying to keep it as affordable as we can. So again, we're trying to hit that $225, $235 price point, so that this is something that everyone can get involved with.
There. Okay, now we can hear you. There we go. Sorry about that.
Whoa. Okay, that was actually kind of scary, but
the power of Christ compels.
Whatever that was, that actually gave me goosebumps.
Anyway, I just wanted to say I see a lot of people that really like the black and white line. I think that'll be very popular with those collectors because I think this line is going to be amazing. I can't wait to see it. So thank you for teasing it, and of course, anytime you ever want to preview it, let me know, and I'd love to share it. Because
you got it. You'll see it in the next week and a half. You'll see it, and I have that Shazam coming out too, so we'll have both of those before the end of the month.
Awesome.
And Shazam's pretty cool.
Hey, Chad, will you be in New York Comic Con? Sorry, just real quick question.
You know what? I won't be there as a company, but I'll be there just roaming around.
That's awesome.
That's awesome. Yeah.
I just, I'll announce it right now. I announced it in my group today. I just received or got approved for a press pass for New York Comic Con, so I'll be there this year. So I'm excited.
It's going to be a party. Yeah,
it's going to be a party. Absolutely. Hope to meet you there, Chad.
Great.
Okay. Thank you guys so much, and I'll catch up with you later.
All right. Thank you very much. Have a good night.
You too. Have a good night.
Good night. All right. Well, I'm assuming there will not be any devil voice now. Whatever that crazy noise is.
The last one, I mean, the other ones, I was all right. I'm like, all right, what the hell is that? But then that last one freaked me out, man. I thought that was coming from my house.
I swear I could hear voices in it.
Yeah, there was voices. And oh my gosh, I almost wanted to get my freaking holy water or something.
I didn't even hear
airplanes flying over his house or something. I'm not sure.
I didn't hear anything, guys. Nothing.
It was Satan's tariff.
Spider-Man 616 said Satan is still lingering. Let me give a shout out real quick because I haven't had a chance to do it real quick in the chat, and then we'll go look at pictures real quick. Glenn Ellis here, Jason Wilkinson, Dead Cool Pool. Again, thank you again, Jason, and Dead Cool Pool. 8-Bit Flea, Barbara Lopez, Gabriel Ross, Red Hood, Cool and Collected, Master Hoarder. Let's see who else is in the house. Let's see, Jesse Hernandez, ATV Racer, Super Sport Maniac, Junior Statue Collector, Eric M, Archangel, with us as always. Let's see.
Unfortunately.
Statue Collecting is here. Head Dude. Let's see if I don't want to miss anybody. Gary N.
Jesse Hernandez is saying, hey, Mad Night 291, Nocturnal Statue Review, hey, from Canada.
There we go. Hello. Sinister Collector, hey. Let's see. Gonna go way back to the top. I think I got Divine. I think Bruna was in the house.
She was.
Barbara's
Jen Min jumped in.
Hey, Jim. Just thank everybody for being here in the chat.
Whiplash
Flash
Collectors.
Collector. Yep.
All right. Very cool. Hey, Steven. Welcome. All right. Let's go ahead. I'll do pictures real quick.
That was intense. I feel like we need to like unwind from that.
Yeah. That was, I truly feel like that was one of the most refreshing things I've ever heard.
Yeah, and
It's like seeing the killer run at you.
okay.
You know, like
We should be running the other way then.
yeah, like you can see the killer, so you can kind of like make your move rather than the killer, startle you.
That's right.
It's like
Good way of thinking.
But yeah, that was seriously like I wish, like I said, like I wish more companies did that. I think First Four Fingers somewhat like that. They do a lot of like they show you what's going on in the factories. I know Alex kind of goes overseas and actually shows you the factory and how everything is. But yeah, I mean, I think if more companies, more statue companies are a little bit more transparent, then like I said before, like the pitchforks will definitely go down when people understand like why the prices are the way they are instead of everyone speculating, including myself.
Dead Cool Pool just did another super chat. Thank you very much. He said, "So who's pre-ordering Juggernaut now that you know?"
I'm still on the fence. I'm waiting for the edition size so that it'll be mine, so I could give it to Tim, so he could save some shipping.
awesome.
There we go.
I will reserve my words then.
But it was interesting, the discussion about the price discrepancies, like, the difference between Mr. Freeze and some of the last ones they announced. Like, I feel like the last couple have actually been fairly reasonable. 500s,
Yeah.
So I don't know why Freeze was that much more.
It looks really good. I mean, if you compare Freeze to the Logan statue, how is there almost $200 difference between them?
Well, it does make me wonder if Freeze or Juggernaut or some of these other pieces haven't been selling.
Yeah.
I think the tariff matters on how much the production of the piece costs. So Logan is like a 15-inch statue, and they probably, I would assume that these factories are measuring out the amount of resin that they're using. So a female statue has thin arms, thin legs, and they're using 12 ounces of resin to make it, as opposed to like 42 ounces for Juggernaut. So it's like, or the glass dome on Freeze, and I mean that's gotta play a role.
Or the boxes are bigger and they're having to pay more for that too, like what he said.
He didn't even mention the tape. Just imagine how many rolls of freaking tape that they were just taping those boxes shut. I cut it open and I don't even think about that tape. I'm like, this stupid tape. It's got to cost packs of rolls of tape.
Well, that's why Prime 1 doesn't do they used to have the Prime 1 tape, and now it's just plain tape. It's like, have to cut back, baby.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, and there's probably some supply and demand too. I mean, you think about how many Logans or Wolverines are that are out there, and for a good reason. He's one of the most popular characters and is going to sell very well. But how many Freezes are out there? not very many.
Zero.
So in terms of demand for freeze, that demand is probably going to be higher just in terms of there's much less of that particular character to get, and you got to get this one,
And
or you got to get the bigger one. That's it. Those are your choices.
And then they can offset the cost on other statues using that.
Yeah.
Right.
It's it's like a full-on spreadsheet to balance it.
And
happy.
Warner Brothers, DC, whoever, AT&T, whoever it is now, probably has some thoughts about, this character costs more. We don't do a lot of this character.
Right.
There's probably whatever that license is.
Too, and I wish I had asked Chad about his license, but we've heard in the past that like each character has their own license that they have to pay for. It's not like a blanket. We have the DC license, but like there's actually licenses within those characters, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's true.
So, maybe a Mr. Freeze license was more money because he's not made as much. Maybe that's why he's not made as much.
And I think we've always thought that there are licenses per scale too. So the 1/4 scale license, if that 1/4 scale was more popular than other scales, that license may cost more, even if a 1/3 is, or whatever. Pick your size. I mean, whatever's going to be popular might have something to do with that as well. I mean, I don't know.
Well, I was going to ask you guys. I know
the licensing for certain characters becomes available or becomes cheaper, which is why you see we had 3 Lobos show up last year, and this year there's been 2 Juggernauts. There may be another. Well, I mean, there were 3 Juggernauts if you count the Iron Studios diorama.
Yep. Which was a Juggernaut statue because that Wolverine is trash.
Oh, it's sad.
If it wasn't, I would have bought it for sure.
I just wanted to say, Red Hood in the chat said they're going to start using Scotch tape now instead of packing tape. It'll be the really, really crappy kind from the dollar store too. Like it won't be the good stuff you buy for Christmas presents.
That'll be so many short pieces on each 4 side. And some hopes and prayers holding it together.
That's right.
Well, I was going to ask you guys if you think more like how we're all speculating the license and this and it could be this and it could be that. If you think if the companies like Sideshow was a little bit more transparent, like they kind of explained like how Chad did and how everything went down. Like I don't know, for just once. It doesn't have to be every single time a statue comes out, but just once. Do you think that you'll buy more of from that company because they are transparent and they tell you, or do you think that you'll still buy it regardless if they were transparent or not?
I don't think that matters.
I don't think that matters.
I think some of them are so big that they don't feel like they have to explain it.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, and I mean, at some point, there's a point where, I don't know, there's a breaking point for me where I justify paying that much money for a painted rock.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I think that's why we've seen Sideshow start selling those backpacks and watches and the DC collectible, the small stuff that they never had before.
Yeah.
Right. Affordability isn't always
a bunch of that.
Yeah.
But I do feel like if they were more transparent, I feel like it gives people the peace of mind.
Yeah.
Because you might say, "Oh gosh, I don't want to pay $700 for freeze," but by God, I'm going to. But if those greedy bastards. But if you understand the reasoning behind it, that makes me feel better about spending that $700.
Right.
Yeah. Whether I spend it or not, I still feel like that gives me a little bit of peace of mind, and I feel like it would give a lot of collectors. There's so much negativity right now with prices.
Yeah,
we talked about it on this show. Every show, Rat Titan, MCE, everybody's talked about prices.
Yep.
And it's frustrating, and it's part of the game now.
Yeah.
But knowing what Chad said tonight, like that makes way more sense to me, and I'm way more like, okay, I get that. Yeah. I'm more willing. I don't know, just to let it go.
It would create a lot of goodwill in the community if they all just came together and said, hey, maybe if they just, they're never going to work together and prepare a statement like that. But if they did, it would create a lot of goodwill and
Yeah.
a lot more understanding.
Yeah, well, I mean, like, for example, like my friend is buying a DJI drone, and I kind of showed it to the chat, to the Dark Castle chat earlier. The company was kind of straightforward in saying, "Hey, listen, the tariffs are affecting us right now. We are going to be raising the price of this controller for the drone for like $100. Last year was this much. This year is this much." So that people are like, "Okay, well, I understand, and whether or not I decide to buy it, at least I understand why it's more." Instead of like they release the price and like what the like people are like, "What? Why? And I think that's knowing's believing,
Yeah.
Or
Yeah,
that's
sometimes
very
cost isn't always about cost. Sometimes it's about principle. I mean, you can sit there and I can say, I've got a point where I'm not going to pay any more for one of these statues. Like that's my limit in terms of what I'm willing to pay, regardless of whether I can pay it or not. But then if you add in an additional layer to that of, okay, I didn't want to pay this for that, like Chris was saying, but now I've got the opportunity to understand where all of these costs are coming from. It will make me feel better, and I still have the opportunity to choose not to buy that or choose to buy it. I can go either way with that, but certainly I'm going to feel better about the company and better about just the whole process overall if I have a better understanding of what goes into it. I'm not talking about the nickel and dime,
Yeah,
each
I
thing that
agree.
it costs. Like what Chad did was perfectly fine. Like here's the 35 steps that I've got to do. That's a giant pain in the ass, and this is why it costs so much.
Yeah, I agree. Like I said, not full transparency, but just kind of explain why Hulk is 1,500. Almost, I mean, what 1,390 or something, whatever whatever it costs. And the last Hulk that was released, the last Gladiator Hulk, was $800. I don't know. I just, I don't know. That's just me.
I
Like
think
I
it was
said.
less than that. I think it was $6.99,
Yep.
$5.99, something like that. It was crazy.
I want to give a shout out to Darth Castle also. They have my favorite chat show on right now, so I forgot to mention them when I mentioned the other shows. So Barbara said in the chat there's a lot of other interesting conversations on that channel. So yes, there is. If you only knew.
If you only knew what happens in the actual chat.
It gets pretty crazy in there, that's for sure. I love it.
Yeah, when I'm ready to burn my bridge with all you assholes, I'm gonna...
That's it.
Oh, I love it.
Oh, God.
Let's move on to some photos, shall we?
Yeah.
All right. Let's see.
Oh, God.
If they only knew, right? That's it.
If they only knew, man.
Dude, I would definitely
trouble.
never come on camera again.
Yeah, I would like hide underneath a rock for like forever.
Oh. Let me see the photos again. Let's see.
Yeah, I'm like thinking about some of this stuff too.
Me too, PJ. It's so stupid.
All right, can you see that photo, guys?
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. This was the first one that Chad was talking about. This is going to be a Frank Miller Batman. It's going to be a whole new line. I don't know if you guys saw this photo or not, but I've seen a lot of people that are excited about the possibility of comic artist based statues in this size from Tweeterhead. So, what do you guys think?
It's exciting. I mean, I think it's great. I love the 1/6 scale, the Chad's price point through Tweeterhead. There, it's something that, like he said, everybody could kind of jump onto, and to your point, Chris, it's very reminiscent of the kind of black and white line, but just in a bigger scale.
Yeah. I think it'll be very popular.
Yeah, I think with the rising prices of quarter scales, I think the 1/6 scale line and maybe the 1/5 scale line will shine.
And how cool would these be in front of a graded comic? Or I just think the scale would be really good with that.
Yeah.
Are they going to be painted?
Yes. Yeah, they will, I believe they'll be fully painted. So it won't be exactly like the black and white, but I was just thinking that there's the black and white line so popular because it's based on comic artists.
Mm-hmm.
And so I could see if this line does well, I can, who knows how far this line will go, but I could see it being in that scale. I think it'll be real popular.
Yeah, and it's a good, it's a good price point, good scale for new statue collectors to jump right into, especially if they collect comic books and stuff. So
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so this was a teaser from this week. This is going to be Starfighter again from Sideshow, 1/4 scale. I think was the price like $530, something like that, maybe $535 for the premium format. What do you think of this one?
I didn't get the exclusive. I didn't see the point of the exclusive. I thought that was pretty odd.
I just don't understand why they're like, that's the new thing, is to have this separate item from the base. Like, no one's liking that.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
I haven't heard one positive thing about that yet.
Yeah.
It's like you swap out. Like, why not swap out the hand? Because people keep calling that the burger.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's congrats, Jeremy, on a beautiful statue, man. That's gonna be such a awesome statue.
Yeah, I mean, I think she's beautiful. I'm not sure why she's resting on her hair. That seems a little. Maybe I just don't understand the character, which is a strong possibility. But it just her hair is turned in kind of the fire there, and like I know she's got long hair, but I've never seen her like use it in that way. But I could be wrong.
Yeah.
The one thing I really appreciate here is it's definitely something different.
Yeah, for sure.
Not the leg up pose that they've done for years. Like, I feel like it's definitely different. The base is unique, and I applaud Sideshow for doing something really different out of the box here.
Yeah, she's beautiful. I think it's going to be super hard to replicate that in production from the factory, especially the face.
Yeah. I was going to say I agree with Lawrence because, I mean, Wonder Woman was out of this world when I first saw it, and then the production piece was...
Which goes to show you that these photos should be the production.
Yeah, right.
Right, yeah. A long time, but if they did that, then people's expectations wouldn't be as high. If they wouldn't complain as much. If this was the production piece, then people are going to buy it.
Yeah, I think you're going to end up with different eyebrows. You're going to end up with different eyes. You're going to end up with different lashes.
You're going to have a whole different face.
Tone. You're going to end up with different lip color. It's going to be different, I think, just because it's going to be really hard. I mean, that's a master painter sitting there doing a lot of this.
I don't think you're going to end up with a body with that much flesh showing compared to the Wonder Woman. It just didn't even come close.
Yeah,
this has got to be the most flesh I've seen on the Sideshow piece, I think.
Well, yeah. I was like, well,
have you
I was like, who that?
From the back, they didn't even paint her thumbnail.
Oh, really?
Yeah, if you look at the picture, there's a picture from like the no, go back to that.
Yeah, go back to that. Zoom in. You could also zoom in. No, the next one, or the back side of it.
Yeah. You can see her thumbnail.
Yeah. Oh, sorry.
This is Stephen Lord, man. So
this one right here.
This guy's an anatomy.
Well, I was gonna say, Tim, like, I mean, I know I sound, a little weird saying this, but the anatomy is really, really amazing on this. Look at the skin fold on his
right here.
back. Yeah, that was.
And this shoulder blade muscle here.
Yeah, and just like the rib cage and everything. Oh man, I appreciate everything. I mean.
If you guys get a chance, just Google Stephen Lord's name and just look at some of the stuff he's done, like the anatomy studies he's done for like universities and all types of stuff. It's insane.
Yeah, I think he used Arch once also as a Archangel as a model. Just kidding. Is he in the chat?
Yeah, he's in there.
Oh
this
boy,
is going to be a hit, I think, for Sideshow. I think
Huge
it's
hit.
And you guys mentioned paint. I feel like every piece lately that's come out for production has been the paint is just more muted for whatever reason. I don't understand why it can't be as. I just don't feel like they're using the same paints that the master painters are using.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely techniques that the factory's not replicating.
Yeah,
and I think that might be it.
Come out and she's not going to be near as vibrant.
Right.
I just don't understand that. Like, why can't it be as vibrant?
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
paint is paint.
The devil's advocate comment is, I've never had a Big Mac that looks like the picture.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I don't know what McDonald's you've been going to, Tim, but no, I'm just kidding. My Big Mac.
Looks exactly like
We talked about
Actually, just real quick, who's pre-ordering that statue? Anybody in the panel here, or besides
It's a
Alejandro?
pass for me.
To pass.
yeah,
Pass.
Pass.
Yeah,
doesn't fit my collection.
I want to fit in my
I
collection.
want it to fit. Yeah, I want it to.
Yeah.
But
looks
so this
great.
is another one. Going along with what Tweeterhead's doing. This is another smaller scale. I can't remember. Is this 1/5 or 1/6? I can't remember.
1/6.
1/6.
So you do have Tweeterhead. You have Prime One doing smaller scale. You have XM doing smaller scale. So there's going to be a lot to choose from. But it looks like all of them are going to be pretty incredible.
That looks great.
That looks really cool.
I really like the cape on this one.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Are you gonna get this, Chris?
It is possible. I really do like this one. The issue I have, I've sold most of my smaller scale stuff. I have 1/4, I have 1/3, and then I have my bus. And I'd like to stay at those 3 scales and nothing more. But if these are good enough, I don't know. I'm going to have trouble passing these up. I do want to see what they look like, actually produced. But yeah, they're neat. I love them. Okay, this is speaking of bus. This is the let me get actually a real photo here. This is from Queen Studios. These are licensed by Marvel, and this is from Captain Marvel. You guys have seen the Loki and the Thanos, but this one was revealed recently. What do you guys think of this bust?
Cool.
I like it.
Yeah,
I like it.
I like it. I think it's good.
Looks good.
I saw the Iron Spider bust is sold
Yes.
out now.
It's incredible. I don't know if that piece is licensed or not. I think it is because it's got the logo on the front, just like this one. This one, the hair does light up, so that's going to be obviously some sort of clear resin or something. But and her eyes light up also.
That's awesome.
But she just went up for pre-order, I think, this week, and she's $900,
Yeah.
which I didn't think was awful. I thought that
No,
was
it's not a bad price.
pretty doable for that. And
I kind of wish they would put the badge on the front. I don't know.
the back of the
That the
the nameplate.
yeah, the nameplate.
yeah, my contact. I need to ask him if those can be removed
Yeah.
because I know some people just really don't like them.
Yeah.
I know, like the old Sideshow ones are magnetized, like the Daredevil one. And when I got that, I removed it for like a day, and I was like, "Man, I miss it," and I put it right back on.
Put it on there.
It's like, yeah, once you see it in person and it's in front of you, you'll miss it that it's not there.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. But I agree. I would prefer never to have the nameplates. Yeah.
They are also going to be releasing. They've been teasing a Wonder Woman. I'm really excited to see Gal Gadot Wonder Woman. So
Yeah.
I think that'll be really interesting.
If she's
a lot of weird people buying that one.
Yeah, including me. If the likeness is definitely there, I'm just gonna buy just to, when
Now,
my wife.
doesn't-
When my
doesn't-
wife's
doesn't
Stop it.
have the break-
Wrong shot, TJ.
sorry. Sorry. Nick. I went to sorry.
This one right here was just revealed last night. Prime One had a new exhibition at their new store. This one, I believe, and forgive me, I know nothing about these, but this is, I believe, Devil May Cry. Know anything about these statues?
I think the character's name is Dante.
Yep.
I played the first version of the game back on PlayStation 2 or
2.
3.
Yeah, it was 2.
So how do you think this guy looks?
Looks
great.
good.
Yeah, I think so too.
And is he 1/3?
I don't know.
It looks like 1/4.
I think
I think they're
1/4.
1/4.
Yeah, I think all of these reveals were 1/4. I think.
Wow.
Yeah.
Looks cool.
I was surprised, but yeah, a lot of gaming fans are really excited after what was previewed here.
Yeah, that looks awesome.
That's crazy.
Hope that dude-
Ace.
It's crazy.
Wow.
I'm just blown away that they are doing like video game statues at a high level. It's insane. Oh my goodness, look at that.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Wow.
His wings coming off the side, and
Yeah.
I don't know anything about it, but it looks cool.
I played the first one and the second one. I mean, they're cool, but I would not get it.
They're not getting.
This is part of the Legacy Replicas 1/4 scale. This is from Iron Studio. We saw, I think we covered some of these on the last show, but these are, or at least this one is going to go up for pre-order on Friday at Iron Studios and also at Sideshow. What do you guys think of this one? I think it's gorgeous. I love it.
I love
I think
it.
he's awesome.
Yep. Beautiful. Yeah.
I love the shield. Like the shield is so fantastic. I love it.
Yeah.
Hey, Jeff, are you going to get this piece or anyone?
Probably.
Yeah.
I think so.
I
Yeah,
can't resist.
if I have to, I can put. I think I would move him to a place by himself and put that one in.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
It could easily be a standalone piece.
Yeah, easily.
Yeah,
I mean, just with that pose, like it's fantastic. And
Yeah,
it's
there isn't a better movie version cap on the market.
no, there's not.
fantastic.
Yeah. Dan, you getting this piece too?
Yeah. I don't think I can pass that up.
Yeah, it's so good.
Yeah.
And conversely, the last best movie piece was the last Iron Studios one with his finger.
Yeah,
Yeah.
pointing. I love
Yeah.
that you.
You have that one, Dan?
Yeah. This one right here.
Yeah, that one was, when I saw that, I was like, yo, who is this company? And that was when they came on the
Yeah.
map for me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep, absolutely. This one, I just threw these in because these are some production photos of Doomsday. One of my fellow collectors was kind enough to do a guest review. I'll have that up either tomorrow or Friday. Had lots of great things to say about this piece. It has some controversy, where as apparently a lot of the upper half, including the head, is kind of a vinyl-y PVC type material. We're not exactly sure what it is. But what do you guys think? How do you think this guy turned out?
I think the people who have it in hand like it, and the people who don't have it are talking a lot of smack.
Yeah, I agree.
But that's usually how things go.
Yeah.
It
Skull.
looks good to me.
Yeah, it looks great.
Yeah, I think it looks good.
And it's almost like, I've seen, you look at the close-ups, it's almost the closer up you get, in the pictures at least, the better it gets.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
The collector that did the review, he actually said kind of the opposite. He said that, the further away you are, it looks really solid, but then you get close and you notice that there's just plasticky elements. But even this close, like I think that looks great. Like,
that looks awesome.
I don't see any problem at all with that. I think it looks really good.
I heard a couple people that had it say that the upper torso also felt like it had like rubber around it or something.
Yeah.
Something like that.
And I've heard that some of that material actually costs more than polystone.
Huh.
So people say, "Oh, it's like plasticky or cheap," but I don't know if I'm right or not. But that's what I've heard, that some of those materials cost more than the polystone itself.
I've got an interesting note on that rubber. So the biggest ice shard piece on the front of Prime 1 Freeze.
Yes.
I've heard several people, and I have the same thing where there's something rolling around inside mine. I don't know what it's a piece of, but there's a little something that's just rolling around in there. From the outside, it looks fine. Doesn't seem to affect it at all, but it's rolling around. So I contacted Prime 1. They got right back to me, and they said, we really apologize, but we unfortunately can't send you another one. It won't fit your statue. So I don't know if these are made to fit a specific base or what, and because the material, and the reason I bring this up is the material is that, Chris, your review,
Yeah.
or something. But they said it wouldn't fit. So, yeah, I thought that was interesting.
That is interesting.
That was just earlier today. Yeah.
And weird. All right, now I gotta go check mine now to see if it has that. I mean, I have had bases like that where I wiggle the base and there's like junk rolling around in there.
Yeah.
So this is another one I don't know anything about. Maybe you guys do, but this is a half scale from Prime 1.
Well, it's Daryl from Walking Dead.
Yeah,
It's
it's him. So a good likeness, I think.
It looks just like him. It's
Yeah.
amazing.
But again, half scale, so I don't know how popular this character is. This is a video game character, I believe.
That character. What's he carrying?
A baby.
lot of stuff.
A lot.
There's a baby inside of an amniotic sack with like an umbilical cord.
Yeah.
What
weird.
year is this from?
What is this from?
I don't know.
I don't either.
Imagination.
It looks amazing.
It's a video game.
I think it's a video game that hasn't come out yet.
It's from Death Stranding.
Okay.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah, I just saw that in the
Thank you,
comment,
Jesse
too.
Hernandez.
Yeah, thanks, Jesse.
It's a fetus.
Yeah, it's weird. Okay, I'm going to move on to this guy because this guy has been fairly popular this week. What do you guys think of Logan? I guess not Wolverine, but Logan.
I think he's cool. I like it.
I love this statue.
Yeah, I think it's awesome.
Hey Tim, what do you think?
I love it.
Are you getting it?
The answer is yes, but I'm definitely not pre-ordering it. Not until an edition size is released, and if the edition size is not low, I'm not going to pre-order it. I'll just buy it secondhand in a year when a fake Wolverine fan gets rid of it.
I love that big What do you guys think about the size? There's been some comparison photos that he seems really small. What do you guys think of that?
He's supposed to be small.
He's small.
Yeah. Wolverine's what, like 5'6", 5'5"?
5'3".
Wow. So yeah.
Yeah. So
Well,
if he was quarter scale, he would be
kind of small.
Yeah, 15.5 inches. So if he's standing straight up, he should be 17.2 or something like
That'd
that.
be about right then.
Yeah, 15 inches. He's
15
crouched.
inches tall. Yeah.
It looks like, is he going to be part of a line? It looks like he's almost meant that there's going to be like a saber tooth or something to go with that.
I think if you put Juggernaut right in front of him, that would look sick.
Yeah, that would look cool.
Yeah.
I love the bar scene here. That's really cool. Face. It's just a cool piece. I was really kind of surprised they did some cut and sew elements with the jeans.
I don't like the cut and sew. That would definitely. I don't care for that.
On any statue or just this one?
Any of them, but maybe that's just me.
No, I'm with you, Jeff.
Unless it's, I don't mind a cape.
Right.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
I think sculpted generally looks better.
Yeah.
But I do feel like it fits this character. I feel like it looks good here.
As long as they don't end up looking like mom jeans when it's finished.
Yeah. Well, there you go. You got the mom jeans there. So this is the exclusive. You just get the extra head sculpt, which is nice. I really like the regular better.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But
The exclusive has that cool adamantium skull showing.
Yeah. Well, congratulations to anybody that gets this, because I think this is a hit. This was sculpted, of course, by Daniel Bell,
Mm-hmm.
and it shows. He's phenomenal.
Yeah. The physique on it is crazy.
Yeah.
And I'm curious, I think that whole head is going to key into the tank top. I wonder if the arms will key into the tank top or if it'll be one piece. And then I wonder if that dog tag is like metal and you just like put it on, or if it's going to be attached to each head. Those are the things I think about.
I bet that'll be plastic, that dog chain. Just having pieces similar to that, I bet I bet you're right. I bet it'll key in just like that. But I think you have to put the necklace on first, then the head. But, I bet it'll be plastic.
That's great. I love it.
It's awesome.
So cool. Sorry. I thought I had a close up of that there.
I'm sorry, Chris. Can I bother you? Can you go back real quick and see if you could see his belt buckle? I have not looked at his belt buckle. I wonder if it's the Indian head belt buckle.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Looks like a leaf.
It's like a maple leaf.
Can you see that? Does that make sense?
Yeah, it's a maple leaf.
Yeah.
Is that what does the leaf symbolize, Tim?
Well, he's Canadian.
Yeah.
I was hoping it would have been he typically has like a Native American.
Yeah, it's usually like an Indian head.
Yeah.
Can you guys see like the pull of the muscle here?
He's nuts. Daniel Bell is a sick man.
Look
That's
at that.
Awesome.
That is insane. I hadn't really noticed it until I just zoomed in there. Like, that's incredible.
That's crazy.
Gosh. He is ripped. All right, let me zoom back out here. All right, let's go back. I think we were to the gauntlet here. This is a new pre-order this week from Hot Toys. But this one seems to be pretty popular.
Yeah, it's is it the life size one, right? I think
this is the life size. The thing that bothers me about it is that, like, here's the Thanos glove. It came out last year. Shouldn't the stones be the same size?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I don't look at the size difference here.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it was like that in the movie if they were smaller. I guess they'd have to be. but you can really see the difference here.
Yeah.
That's just little things like that drive me crazy.
Yeah.
Let's move on. These were some other just pictures from this weekend at Prime One, or this week from Prime One. They showed some of the Street Fighter people that they had previously shown, but then they also showed the switch outs for the first time. So I thought that was pretty cool with that switch out.
Yeah.
All I gotta say is R.I.P. PCS.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And this is the other alternative, I think, on this one. But yeah, these are phenomenal. Congrats for the Street Fighter fans, because they're cool, very dynamic.
Yeah.
This is the Tweeterhead Shazam that Chad was talking about. I don't know if you guys saw the reveal of this yet, but I thought it was pretty cool. I like love the lightning behind it.
It's really awesome.
That is cool.
Like the cape, it's a neat piece. These were some production photos from this week of the Batman versus Superman. What do you guys think? Do you think it looks as good as it did? Anybody buy this one?
I think the production looks amazing.
Yeah, I think it looks very similar to
Yeah.
the prototype, in my opinion.
Yeah, so this will be part of the, this sideshow villainized, because their production photos look just as good as their prototype photos, but nobody will sing songs about them.
Yeah.
We'll take a dump on them when they mess up, though.
Yep.
Yeah, nobody wants to talk about the good.
That's right.
But I mean, I think that looks great.
Yeah, it looks awesome. I canceled mine, but it looks awesome. I canceled mine early on. I just decided that it wasn't.
Neither.
I didn't have anywhere to put it, and decided to focus on something else.
It's a good thing you did, because now you're gonna have to buy all those Masters of the Universe stuff.
I know.
Yeah, you just got blessed tonight.
Yes, you did. This
Chad,
was another.
I am upset you didn't mention the X-Men at all, Chad.
We'll ask him that on the next show. That's funny. I think we're kind of wrapping up the pictures here. This is another one that seems to be really popular when I posted these photos, but that's the God of War. This is a diorama. It looks incredible.
That's crazy.
What size is that thing, man?
1/4 scale.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it looks great.
But it's two
1/4
separate
scale
pieces.
diorama is huge.
Yeah, it's two separate pieces. I'm assuming that this is a separate piece, maybe that it's kind of joined in the middle, but people seem to be really excited about this one.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
I think it's awesome.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
This actually might be 3 pieces, because that looks like it might come apart there. Again, I don't play the game, so I don't know much about it, but it's very well executed.
I love the game, but I'm more of the old school God of War fan. I like the old look, even though this is a beautiful piece. I mean, look at that the head right there. That was actually, I forgot the name of that god that he cut the head off.
Wow.
Is he wearing it on his belt?
Yeah. He's actually still alive.
Oh, weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, he uses him as his guide.
Kratos, Boulder, and Boy.
Yeah.
Look at the tree
Boulder.
here. So much detail. Man, Prime One is just rocking it.
Yeah, they are the best in my opinion.
I agree. Just absolutely fantastic.
Yeah.
Let me get out of
Who
this.
sculpted that one?
I don't believe I've heard.
I don't think they share that kind of info, which is a shame, man. 'cause
They did start on a lot of their boxes. They started putting their artists on the boxes, which I really appreciate. And the last one I got didn't have it on there. So I'm hoping that that's a trend, though, because everybody in this room appreciates the art behind the pieces. That's why the artist. And so I hope that becomes more of a trend. I know Sideshow showcases a lot of their artists. I would love to see that from Prime One and other companies.
Yep.
It lets us get to know who's creating these things we love. So I love it. I love it. That's our show. We've got about 2 hours tonight, which is a little longer than normal, but thank you guys so very much for being in the gallery tonight. Really fun. It was just, again, I loved having Chad on. That was just mind blowing to me how much information that we got tonight. I hope you guys liked it too. Thank you again for all the people in the chat. Really appreciate you being here as always. Again, I want to re-announce that I will be going to New York Comic Con, so I'm really excited about that. Can't wait to meet a lot of you guys and a lot of you guys in the community. I've been waiting a long time.
Oh man, it's gonna be. I'm telling you, this New York Comic Con is just gonna be massive. Just gonna be like the amount of collectors and people going. Hopefully, more statue companies make it out to New York Comic Con this year. Thank you to Tim for helping me get tickets. Appreciate it. And whoever's on the panel needs to go.
Yeah, it's gonna be awesome.
That's right. Anybody interested? Are you, Dan? Are you going to go?
I'm in. I'm going. Definitely.
Oh, you are going? Oh, awesome.
Dan, where do you live?
I live in New Hampshire.
Oh, you're right. Yeah,
you're East Coast, bro.
Yep. Yeah, I live about 40 minutes north of Boston.
Oh, nice.
Coast.
That's really cool. That's awesome. Well, I don't know exactly. I'm thinking like Thursday, Friday is what I'm thinking. I don't know who's all going to be where, when, but I know a ton of people are going out there. So, I'm really excited to experience that.
Yeah, Thursday, Friday is the probably in terms of walking the convention is probably the best time to go. Not a lot of people. I mean, there is going to be a lot of people, but not as much. Saturday is just absolutely insane. Yeah, I think me and Tim, we spent like an hour in the con, and we were like in Gem's hotel after.
Yeah, we were just doing everything else. I mean, the con is great, but it's really turned into like just like meeting up there and kind of just like breaking off and doing stuff.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I'll be there Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
Awesome. Well, my wife and I were looking at flights. And I think we're going to fly in Wednesday night.
Yep.
I have to figure out how to get her a ticket.
I will have my better half with me as well. So
nice.
Yeah, she's looking forward to meeting you guys that I hang out with. He's the mystery.
All of us crazies.
Yeah. Yeah.
We'll behave.
That's right. So I'm looking forward to that. I was really excited to get that news today. So that's going to be something.
Yeah, congratulations, Chris. Seriously.
Yeah, thank you very much. I'm really excited just to experience New York. We are going to go about a month prior. So I'll get my feel of New York and kind of get my way.
You are coming like a month before?
Yeah, he's going to watch a Broadway show.
Yeah, my wife got tickets to the Cursed Child, the Harry Potter play.
Oh, nice.
Oh,
we're going to be there, I think, for 4 or 5 days.
Oh, okay. If you ever want to meet up,
Yeah, that'd be awesome. That we're going to spend at least a day like doing some of the Statue of Liberty and touristy things because we've never been there. Period.
Yeah.
So, but that'd be awesome. I'd love to.
It's wild. I've never done that.
Oh, really?
Never done Statue of Liberty?
No, I live here.
Oh, I was gonna say.
It's like people in Rome don't go into the Colosseum. They're like, yeah, I hate this building.
Yeah,
sure.
Yeah, I rarely as close as the city is. I mean, I rarely go to the city. It's just because,
you get too crazy. I'm sure.
Yeah, it's just a whole different breed. When you go there, you'll like it. You'll enjoy it. And when you come out here, man, let me know. I'll meet up, kind of show you guys around and stuff, and hit up some of the food restaurants and.
Yeah, I mean, I work in the city, so I can meet you guys after I get out.
I love it.
Happens.
Love it. Let's plan on it. That's great. Be our personal guide a little bit, so that'll be good.
Yeah.
Cool.
Well, I'm looking forward to that. And again, the next Rogues Gallery show will actually be in 3 weeks instead of 2, because I will be out in Colorado for a little bit with some family time. So 3 weeks from tonight, we'll be back with Rogues Gallery Live. Love to have you guys back on the show as always. And again, just thank you guys so much for being here tonight.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Thanks, everybody.
Yeah. Thanks for having us.
Absolutely.
Thanks.
Yep. Thanks everybody in the chat, and we'll see you in 3 weeks on Rogues Gallery Live. See you in the Batcave. Bye, everybody.
Hey guys.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye.